Team doesn't have any chemistry, and this team should be very competitive and or a good team. This team should be good without Caitlin Clark. They've got the horses. In my opinion, the WNBA still has a major problem with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark still looking like the only draw. In my opinion, these ratings are pathetic in the league.
Caitlin Clark shattered WNBA viewership records again, pulling in 3.2 million viewers for a single game. So why does the league keep treating her like a ticking time bomb instead of its biggest star? We break down the shocking statistics and the league's baffling response to Clark's success. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Caitlin Clark might be just one player, but she's moving the needle for the entire WNBA in a way no one else has.
Animosity towards this team, actually. And a lot of people said, well, after that, I'm definitely not watching with Caitlin Clark out. A WNBA issue, too, not only the Fever. As far as ratings go, I had these two games as wins. Well, now I look at the schedule and I'm like, well, you can't take any of these games for granted.
Her games attract numbers that make broadcast executives double-check their math. Take her Liberty matchup, for example. 3.2 million people tuned in. For comparison, most other games this season haven't even cracked 200,000 viewers. It's not just big markets or rivalries fueling this. Wherever Clark goes, people follow. Her star power is magnetic, and it's lighting up a league that's been desperate for consistent attention. Now imagine what happens when she doesn't play. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. When the Fever announced Clark wouldn't be available for their game against the Mystics, the ripple effect was immediate. Tickets that had been selling for $41 dropped to just $22 overnight. Resale prices fell off a cliff, and suddenly, the arena was facing rows of empty seats. This isn't just about one game. It's the clearest sign of how much the league relies on her, Caitlin Clark.
Even though she got injured. You should win 3 out of every 4. You should be a good squad that blows out the Connecticut Sun without Caitlin Clark. It's the casual viewers that are pulling in these big ratings. Oh, Caitlin Clark's playing? The casual is going to tune in.
Is the demand. When she's on the court, it's an event. When she's out, everything grinds to a halt, almost like a mini Wall Street crash in the world of women's basketball. And it's not just local arenas feeling the shift. On television, her games repeatedly destroy records that haven't been touched in decades. We're talking about the kind of viewership numbers that redefine what's even possible for women's sports. Researchers have pointed out that ratings for her games are outperforming finals from over 20 years ago. This isn't just a star player with an engaged fan base. Clark's taken the WNBA into uncharted territory. Her impact can't be overstated, but it does raise serious questions. If the league depends on her this much, why aren't they doing everything they can to build around her? The current strategy feels reactive and short-sighted, like the WNBA is waiting for another Caitlin Clark to walk through the door. But here's the thing, they've already got her. This could be a turning point for the league, or, if they're not careful, the beginning of a very dangerous game. Speaking of dangerous, the question isn't just about neglect. Could the WNBA actually be working against her? Why does it feel like the WNBA is almost working against Caitlin Clark? The league depends on her to bring in record-breaking numbers, but you wouldn't know it from how she's treated.
In my opinion, the WNBA still has a major problem with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark still looking like the only draw. In my opinion, these ratings are pathetic in the league. They got a problem. And if this team plays like it played last night, the WNBA's got a serious problem.
Let's start with the officiating. During her game against the Liberty, the same one that drew 3.2 million viewers, Clark was roughed up repeatedly on the court. Elbows landed, shoves came her way, and the referees stayed silent. On top of that, a phantom foul call against her late in the game swung momentum completely the other way. fans didn't hold back, calling it the worst refereeing performance of all time. For a player who's meant to be the league's centerpiece, this kind of treatment feels intentional, or at the very least, neglectful. But it doesn't stop at what happens during the games. There was a credible death threat made against Clark not long ago. This wasn't just internet noise, it was real enough to warrant swift action. And the league's response? Practically nothing. No public statement, no additional security measures, nothing to show they value her safety. Compare this to how other major leagues rally around their players in similar situations, and it's hard not to see a disturbing double standard at work.
Team doesn't have any chemistry, and this team should be very competitive and or a good team. This team should be good without Caitlin Clark. They've got the horses. Aaliyah Boston, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard. You should win 3 out of 4 games with that lineup. Lexi Hull and Sophie played most of the game last night.
What would the league have done if this happened to another player, one they favored more? Maybe Angel Reese, for example. It's a question that raises eyebrows for a lot of fans. Speaking of Reese, here's where some of the dynamics get interesting. Reese leans heavily into branding and media presence, and the league seems fine with that. Meanwhile, Clark's game, her skills, her consistency, her ability to carry a franchise pulls the WNBA into national conversations. But rather than celebrate that, the league's actions come across as resentful. They push rivalries like Clark versus Reese, like they're trying to force a narrative people aren't buying. At some point, you have to ask, what's the end game for the WNBA? If Clark decides this treatment isn't worth it and steps away, the league's growth could collapse as fast as it's risen. They need her, but to keep her, they need to start acting like it. Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA hasn't flatlined. Her ability to draw millions of viewers and pack arenas isn't just impressive, it's essential. But the league's treatment of her, from allowing biased officiating to ignoring her safety, sends the wrong message. So here's the real question. Can the WNBA grow without her?
A disaster. And a lot of people were like, well, Caitlin Clark's not growing the game if people won't tune in with her. Look, people tuned out when Jordan went to baseball. Laundry list of athletes that are highly unlikable. So, they're just unlikable. You can't snipe at people and expect people to tune in.
Or is it time for the league to fully embrace her impact and build a future where Clark thrives? If they get it right, Clark's legacy could revolutionize women's basketball forever. Imagine what the sport could look like if the league supported her the way she's earned.